Davis Alexander joins us, Montreal Alouettes franchise quarterback. Are you sick of this question yet? How's your hamstring?
No, I mean, it's part of the game, right? It's good. We're still going through the rehab process. Trying to time it up perfectly where going into the season, I feel like at 100%. Where I was saying, last year, I think I attacked the grind a little too much, and I was probably 100% ready to go by March instead of slowly building up. And I was feeling like I was 21, 20 years old. I'm getting older, 26, 27. So, yeah, well, athletic, yeah, I guess. But yeah, so really just trying to make sure we time it up where I'm feeling great going into camp.
Ideally, training camp, you'd be 100%, or are you there now already?
I would say I'm like probably 97%, 98%. As far as the structure of the hamstring, it's 100% healed.
All right, you're on your way to healing from that, but something I just found out from you was that you played a bunch of games in your last year of college with a torn UCL in your throwing arm.
Yeah, torn UCL and fractured elbow. Yes, sir.
How's that impossible as a quarterback to play through that?
Well, it's my only chance of getting to play at the next level. I felt if I kept playing. Originally we looked at possibly a gray shirt, but because back in nowadays it probably would have worked. But when I was playing I think it was 2021, because that was the fourth game of the year, I was no longer, or fifth game of the year, I was no longer eligible for a gray shirt. So they basically they called me in, asked if I had ever thought about coaching. Totally threw me off. I was like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Well, the MRI's not great. You tore UCL and you had an avulsion fracture in your throwing arm." And my response was, "Well, I played the rest of the game. Why can't I just try and play?" So for the whole rest of the year, I never practiced, and I would only suit up for the games. And my first game back was actually the most yards I ever threw for in a game. At University of Idaho, I think I threw like 441 and 5 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, we ended up losing, but yeah, it's just, I mean, that's kind of who I am. Like, I'll play through anything. That's part of the problem with the hamstring, right? Soft tissue. I figured out you can't play through that, but you can play through a UCL and a elbow fracture.
Did you shoot it up?
No.
Freeze it, or how did you go about it?
No, we put icy hot and some KT tape, and I wore a sleeve.
That's it.
That's it.
And just gritted through the pain.
Absolutely.
Man, that sounds painful. Did that, you feel, affect your pro prospects? Did teams know about it, NFL or CFL coming out?
Yeah, they I know for sure the Alouettes knew about it. I remember AC calling me about it when I was actually at Portland State. I think some NFL teams knew about it, but it is what it is.
And then how did you get to the point where it healed? Did you have to do surgery, or was it just natural?
No, just naturally. So when you do your medical checkout at the end of your career, I had to get a second MRI, and basically they told me the scar tissue from the tear ended up attaching to what was left of the UCL and was acting in form of the UCL. That's what I was told.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I feel like little things from I feel like a lot of nerve stuff like in my pinky, but it definitely does not affect the way I do.
I'm thinking let's call it like a superhero type thing. They just regrow,
I think so. They used to say something about like they might have called me Batman or something. Like just a Portland State like therapy. Like they couldn't, or Wolverine, I think is what they said. They couldn't believe that it came back, but I wasn't. To the best of my ability, I wasn't going to take no for an answer.
Certainly not. You've done that through your career to date. You just came back from having a group training session in Arizona. How did that come together?
Yeah, honestly, I got it from VA a couple of years ago. He had people out to Tacoma. I think my rookie year, Tacoma, Washington, which is close to where I'm from. I didn't get the chance to go out there, but I really liked I always wanted to do that if I became the starting quarterback. So we did it last year, kind of more last minute. We had a good amount of people, but not as many. And then this year was just, the coaches loved the idea. We loved it. And we had a great time, and obviously got some great training in, and then just the camaraderie of it and all that stuff. So.
Who did you have there? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
It's a long list, so
yeah.
forget some guys.
Yeah, I know. Sorry if I forget. Tyson Philpott. We had Jalen Philpott come out. He comes out every year. Jared Stearns, Cole Speaker, Tyler Sneed, Hakeem Harris, Travis Tice, Wes Sutton's already out there. We've been training together all off season. Lorenzo Burns, and we actually Eric Brooks was out there because he trains out there. We had him come do a route session with us. So yeah, it was a good time, and we just love being each other's presence. And I was happy to get to see them, see the way that I work in the off season. Everybody has their own off season resume and all that, but it's just good to see them see us push the tempo a little bit.
That's a great crew to get together in Arizona. I'm curious now, you as a bona fide franchise quarterback, are we going to see the same Davis Alexander swag that we've seen? Are you going to be trash talking as much on the field and in the media?
Yeah, I honestly don't want to necessarily be that type of person. I don't want to change. I'm definitely passionate and obviously very competitive. I think maybe if people are trash talking me, maybe a little bit, but I don't think you'll see as much. I want to do more of celebrating with the teammates and putting all my passion and energy to them because that's what they deserve, rather than the other stuff.
You hear about some quarterbacks in the NFL or even the CFL. I've talked about this with Trevor Harris, doing mental training in the offseason. There's so much focus on the physical. Have you gone into that aspect yet? Is that part of the idea to focus more on your teammates?
A little bit. I haven't fully dove into like as much as Trevor has and all that stuff. But I definitely did some self-reflection. Had conversation with Danny, with Coach Moss. Coach Moss doesn't want me to change at all. Danny and I have had similar conversations where he doesn't want me to change, but sometimes if we can channel that, energy to other stuff, that'd be great. But at the same time, they've made it very clear that a lot of my teammates, really appreciate me and, want to play for me. So I don't want that to ever change. I do think like in the Grey Cup, I was a little more tame than and I don't know necessarily what that reason was or, but it's still important that those guys feel that passion from me and, I'm a quarterback, but I would, go to war for these guys and die for these guys. And, hypothetically speaking, not actually die, but, it's still very important for them to feel that from me.
Talking to your teammates at Grey Cup, it definitely seems that they would run through a wall for you. What's it going to take for the Alouettes to get to another Grey Cup and then win it?
Yeah, I mean, we got to put our best foot forward every single week. It's very common for the team that loses the Grey Cup to be like, it's Grey Cup or bust, right? But that's true for all 9 teams in the league, right? Every team, especially I feel like this year, it's a super competitive league this year. Everybody wants to be in the Grey Cup. Everybody wants to win a Grey Cup, but you can't just get that back in one game, right? We can't just snap our fingers and it's Alouettes versus Rough Riders in the Grey Cup again. Nothing's guaranteed in this league. I think we know that. We have dark horses that come out at like in 23 when we won it. I think a lot of people had us picked last. So nothing. I think we understand more than anyone, or not more than anyone, but we understand that nothing's given in this league, and every single week we have to, no matter where we are in the standings, no matter where the other team is in the standings, we have to give ourselves the best opportunity and set us up for a Grey Cup playoff run.
Let's see what happens in 2026. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.